Us from around the world via
When I was
Facebook.
growing up and I seen other basketball players having a signature shoe, that was always in my mind. Can I get that good? Can I be that guy that have his own shoe? When I first wore my shoe, I had like about 35. I had about 10 assists, 5 steals. Every time I made a bucket, I would point at the shoe, the glove. That's who I am. You say, hey, I'm the man, I'm the one.
Well, when I was a kid, I always loved wearing Nike basketball shoes. As I got older, I started to watch players like Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Julius Erving, those guys having shoes, and I realized that's something that I wanted. I built my game around speed. I was under control, determined. My favorite shoe is probably the up-tempo. The shoe looked fast. When I put that shoe on, I feel like I was a Ferrari. My shoe really inspired the way that I played. I played with more of a fearless type of attitude. I feel like that it inspired others as well.
I was in a restaurant. This kid walked in, and I just noticed the white part of the shoe. When I was younger, every time that I got a pair of shoes, I cherished them. I'd get done playing, I'd go in, get an old toothbrush and wipe them off, try to keep them as new as I could. So now I look down and those were my shoes. I was like, wow, this kid has a piece of me with him. We're like intertwined. I think it's amazing how Nike allows you to interject your life into a signature shoe. And a kid who had never seen me play that might be 12 years old, he doesn't really understand the full magnitude of the shoe. And from my point of view, I gave my life story in that shoe. And you can't beat that. It's a great feeling.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us live from around the world via Facebook. And as a native New Yorker, I'm excited to be here in the Mecca of basketball for what should be a very lively conversation about Nike's rich heritage of signature athletes from the past, present, and the very exciting future. Well, a little known fact, Nike's first athlete signature shoe was wrestler Wayne Wells in 1973. Now, others follows, notably bad boy tennis player John McEnroe in 1985, the Mr. Multi-Dimensional himself, Bo Jackson, and in 1990, and then Ken Griffey Jr. in 1996. But even more exclusive is the list of basketball players that have their own basketball shoe. It all began in 1985 with a little known guy named Michael Jordan, Air Jordan 1. Michael and I were teammates in UNC, and just months before he got his shoe, he was really excited. In 2015, we're knocking on the door for 30 years of Nike's signature basketball shoes. It will be an honor tonight to take you inside one of the most exclusive clubs in all of sports. Today, there are more than 200, that's right, 200 players in the NBA wearing Nike basketball shoes. Think about that. The fact that there have been only 19 basketball players in the brand's 42-year history who have a signature basketball shoe. Now we have the pleasure of having two of them, of those 19 players with us here tonight. Our first guest was a young rookie and had a breakout year in Orlando in 1993. And he's one of the most dynamic point guards in NBA history and the NBA has ever seen. And he had an amazing sidekick known as Little Penny. So please welcome Anthony Hardaway. All right, now most of y'all recognize my next guest as my Robin, and I'll be Batman. Or you may know him as the Round Mountain Rebound, Godzilla, Sir Charles. So please welcome Charles Barkley. Best I've seen you look in a while, Chuck, since last Thursday.
Thanks for having me,
Okay.
man.
Well, Penny, I'm gonna start with you first. You were the first signature athlete to play point guard, and you had an electrifying the league. So you had the foam composite to the Penny One. What do you think when Nike first told you that you were gonna have a shoe, what was your first reaction?
It's a crazy feeling because, I was a sneakerhead, so coming in, you dream of having that happen for you. That's one of the things when you're little, everybody loves the shoes, and like I said, I've been a sneakerhead my whole life, so when they told me, At first I didn't believe it. It was like a dream come true, but you know, I was ready for it. I knew that was going to take me to another level, so I was really excited.
Right, right. Well, so Charles, the year before Penny was breaking into the league, you were battling Godzilla on the streets. Did you ever say to yourself, you know, how's this shoe going to sell?
Well, I think when, you know, Michael, obviously, between Nike and Michael Jordan, it started, you know, everybody talked about sneakers today. Nobody had commercials back then. That was like the one little Converse thing between Michael and Larry Bird, but it really wasn't very good. But when Michael and Nike took the whole shoe game to an entire new level, and I remember getting the phone call, said they were going to give me a signature shoe, it's just great pride. And there's nothing better than when you see young people wearing your shoes. I mean, you get emotional every time you see a young kid, because like Penny just said, it's like they part of your family from that point on.
Yeah, we talk about kids wearing your shoes. Like, how does that, let's get into that emotional feel of you seeing somebody walking down the street rocking your shoe for the first time.
It's a proud feeling, man, because it just says a lot about.
Do you remember where you were the first time?
I was in a store and I saw the kid with my shoes on. And anybody that has my shoes on, I walk up to them, shake their hand, and just tell them thanks. Because it's a lot. You know, they don't have to buy them. And it just says that they respect their game. And the kids that aren't old enough to even know, just to even like the shoe, I mean, I thank everybody, man. It was a great feeling for me to see that kid with my shoes on.
I didn't take any chances. I bought my high school the whole team shoes, make sure some of them was gonna sell. I didn't want to take any chance on the American public, so I made sure my high school got Barclays. I was gonna see them somewhere.
Do you know, when you realize, you know, when your draft day, you're like, okay, I'm there, you know the moment. But do you remember the moment when you found out you had your first signature shoe?
Yeah, because, you know, I had a pretty good idea because of having a great rookie season, and my agent and Nike was talking, and when I found out that it was going to happen, man, it was just, I told all my friends, I called everybody that I could call. I was like, yo, they're going to make me a signature shoe. And, you know, everybody went crazy. So it was a fun time not only for me, but for the entire city of Memphis. You know, it was just that made me feel everything that I had done growing up came into fruition, you know, to have my own shoe, and that was for me and the city.
You know, it's an amazing thing because I think about growing up poor in Alabama. My mom was a maid, and I had two younger brothers, and I got one pair of shoes, and my mom bought them to the game, and she came in the locker room after the game. That one pair of shoes had to last me the entire season, and when you get a signature.
So she would take your shoes after the game?
Yes, because they had to last me the entire year. So she bought them to the game and came in the locker room after the game. I could only wear them. But they had to last me the entire year. Got one pair of sneakers for the entire season. And when being with Nike, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here, man, it's probably been the best decision I've ever made because not only do they make you a signature shoe, they ask to bring you in and you tell them what you want. Because for some reason, I wanted my shoes to be as light as possible. I played in Michael Jordan shoes one time. Those things were like cement blocks on my feet. I said, this guy is the greatest basketball player ever. If he can elevate in these heavy ass shoes. But it was amazing. You know, and going back with Scotty, David Robinson, and now going to the new generation, man, I just appreciate everything Nike has did for me. And like, you know, Penny said it earlier, now there's actual shoe game. You know, I'm the oldest geezer up here. There was no shoe game when I got to the NBA in 1984. And Nike, Michael Jordan, David Robinson, Scotty, Anthony, and now Kyrie. I mean, it's just LeBron. It's just amazing what the shoe game has become.
You know, you talked about when you wore an actual pair of Jordans, because I always thought was taboo to wear another player's shoe while you were playing against him.
I waited till he retired.
Okay. Do you remember the time when you ever looked down and you saw other players on other teams wearing your shoe?
I was in New York. I was playing here, and one of the players had my shoes on. And I just saw it as a tribute to me.
While you were playing against him?
Yeah. I mean, because I was older then, so it wasn't nothing I could do about it. As far as playing him, I mean, I was later in my career, and he had my shoes on, and he came up to me after the game and told me that he had idolized me as a player. So that was pretty special for me.
What about you?
Man, it's just a great.
But we played y'all 3 times in the playoffs, and you had nice shoes, and I told you this before. I said, "There's nowhere in hell I'm wearing them shoes playing against this guy."
You know what? I got to piggyback on something Penny said, man. You just got to call everybody, man. I ain't gonna lie. When you get that phone call that says you're gonna get your own shoe, it's like you can't believe it. You know, a little kid from Leeds, Alabama, and you get a signature shoe, and you see people wearing it. It just like it kind of gets emotional every time I think about it. Because, like I said, when you're growing up in the project of Leeds, Alabama, you're not thinking 30 years later you're gonna have your own shoe. And you're sitting around guys like this who have their own shoe, and it's just been an amazing journey.
Well, guys like Charles and Penny and Michael set the standard for what it means to have a signature shoe and be a signature athlete for players who want to follow in huge footsteps. So here are a few of them, and you might have heard of some.
There's such a legacy and a history with the Nike brand and the athletes who have had a signature shoe. I used to be one of those kids that were wearing Jordans and Barclays. It's a huge sign of accomplishment to kind of be a part of that heritage, be a part of that history.
When I see somebody in my neighborhood wearing my shoe, just knowing where I come from, knowing that I walk those same streets, you know, it takes me back on the journey that I took to get here. Every colorway has a story to it. When you put your foot in that shoe, we all are connected in some way.
Well, for me, that's the ultimate, to see kids wearing my shoe and then believing that they can perform at a higher level, make them feel invincible. It's a brotherhood here. It's a family here at Nike. And now it's up for us to lay down the path for the next guy, make the legacy continue to grow.
Well, those 3 All-Stars represent the current class of Nike's signature basketball players. KD was the most recent inductee back in 2008. But as you probably surmised by now, we are here to welcome the latest signature athlete and his first player in 6 years to earn a signature basketball shoe from Nike. He's Australian-born, raised by an amazing pops after his mother passed away when he was just 4 years old. He's a musician and even loved performing theater in school. On the court, this young man was Rookie of the Year in 2012 and an All-Star in 2013 and 14, as well as the MVP of the All-Star game in 2014. And most recently, the MVP of the FIBA World Cup, representing the gold medal winning team for USA. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Kyrie Irving. So Charles, why don't you start off with a question?
Well, number one,
Kyrie.
welcome to the club. You know it's obviously a great honor. Do you feel any, clearly that's added pressure to come to marketing? Obviously you got to keep playing great. Do you feel that added pressure?
I mean, obviously, you can't avoid it at this point. It's just part of the basketball game and part of our culture. But, for me, it's just, about taking that next step. I've dealt with pressures all my life, and, I've just had to take a step back, figure it out. At times, you're going to fail, but I'm okay with that. Just getting back up and performing even better than next time is just what it's about, taking the necessary steps in order to better myself every time I step out there.
Well, Kyrie, tell us about the moment when you first found out about you getting a signature shoe. And I know it must feel pretty good because you're the first player in the last decade since KD get a signature shoe from Nike.
Well, I still remember it. We were in a meeting room and, they laid out the steps and, I was going to become the face of this shoe, the face of that shoe, and then eventually I'll have my own shoe. And then, when it finally happened, they're like, "You getting your own signature shoe?" I asked everybody in the room. I was like, "Wait, are you sure? Like, are you sure it's me? Are you sure you want to give me my own shoe?" And it was just like a surreal moment. And now that it's finally here, it's all my dreams and hard work is coming to fruition. So I'm just really, really happy.
Well, Penny, you played along with one of our comrades, Shaquille O'Neal, and he was a beast back in the day, and now Kyrie's playing with another beast in LeBron James. You have anything or advice or anything that you want to offer to Kyrie with his new signature shoe?
Well, I think he understands a lot because I watched him play, but the main thing is just being himself, understanding the flow of the game, understanding that you're playing with great players. I mean, LeBron is a great player. He understands the game as well. Try to learn as much as you can, and that's what I try to do. I try to learn as much as I can while playing my game, because there's different flows of the game that come at certain times where you have to do certain things, and that's whether get the ball to someone or be a feeder, be a scorer. There's times to do everything, and when you're playing with those great players, you have to figure it out. And I'm sure that you've been doing a good job of that, but to continue to do that.
You know, Kyrie, you know, growing up, you obviously wore a lot of different shoes. What shoe did you covet when you were growing up, hoping that kids will covet the Kyrie ones?
I mean, I wore, you know, a combination of shoes, but I usually wore the bronze, always low top ones.
How
that
crazy
came
is that you playing with the guy's shoe you actually wore?
You know, I just don't want to make him feel old, you know, that I was wearing his shoe. when I was a senior in high school, you know, and I was wearing them, and, you know, when I was at Duke, I was wearing them, and,
Right.
you know, I had shoes that other guys didn't have, and, you know, Bron and Kobe, you know, I definitely wore a lot. And then, you know, now pretty lately, KD's as well.
Well, Kyrie, we're live with the people around the world. Your homeland, Australia, to China, and even Barcelona, where you won the gold medal this summer. What are the 3 things people should know about Kyrie Irving, the person off the court?
3 things?
Yeah.
I'll try to make this short. Well, you know, I'm just a big family man. You know, I have a life outside of basketball that I'm truly happy with, and it's, you know, I simplify my life by leaving the game on the court, and the game is the game. But when I leave the court, you know, I have such a great support system that I could always go to, and you know, I just have a great family. And then, secondly, that you know, I'm just a big Family Guy fan. And then 3, you know, you can get a sense of how weird I am and how abnormal I am, just because I don't worry about, you know, what other people are necessarily doing. You know, it's just all about being happy with my life and what I'm doing. And I'm so comfortable being in my own skin that, you know, I just don't necessarily worry about all the exterior things that are going on. So I'm just really comfortable with my life.
Well, the next set, I was supposed to introduce the next person, but I think it'd be more attributable being the family man that you introduce your dad.
Well, Drederick Irving, reigning from Boston University, 1984 to 1988, Hall of Fame, 3rd leading scorer on Boston University's scoring list. Got to try it with the Boston Celtics. Played over in Australia where I was born. And the greatest man that I know and the greatest role model, my dad, Drederick Irving.
You know, D, I couldn't have said that better. Whatever I had written down or in my mind couldn't have been better than that.
I got an interesting question. When's the first time you were able to beat your dad in basketball?
When I was 16 years old. When I was 16 years old. That was the first time I beat him, and I beat him pretty bad.
Well, D, how do you feel right now? How's this moment? Because, you know, growing up in New York, growing in the area, I've known you for a long time, and this has got to be a surreal moment for you.
It's surreal. I mean, like any other father, when you see any of your kids, you know, attain their goals,
right.
It's just very gratifying. You know, I'm very cognizant of the amount of work Kyrie has put in the game, the sacrifices and the compromises he's made as a basketball player and as a person. And I just, you know, I got to be real. I can't even conjure the words to describe how I feel. Like, I'm so proud of Kyrie. And this is a very special moment for Kyrie and the family. That's why we're here to support him.
And what would be
grateful to Nike for affording us this opportunity.
What would be the one piece of advice you give him from this point forward? Because you grew up with Jordan and Barkley and Penny and everyone having the shoe and seeing the success they have. What would you say to him as a piece of advice now?
Just continue to be who you are. I think that's very important. Just continue to be who you are and continue to work the things that got you where you are. And never be satisfied where you are, and just continue to work hard and develop as a person and as a basketball player. It's very important.
Charles, you have anything else you want to add?
No, man, it's just a great night for the Nike family.
Appreciate
you know,
it, guys.
Dad said you never dream. You know, like I said, I'm the old head up here. You never dream you're gonna get a signature shoe. He's with the best company. Out of all my business relationship, Nike's probably been the best for me. and I thank them for everything they did for me and my brand. And he's with a great company. He's a terrific player. Now that comes the hard part. They just got to win, and that's the toughest thing. He's in a great situation, and I just want to see him excel and the Cavs excel.
Penny?
I just echo the same sentiments, first of all, before I ask my question. It's just being a part of a great company, that's been so good to all of us. I mean, I'm 6 years out, still having sneakers made. I mean, it's just been they leave a legacy. You leave a legacy with Nike. It's just a family atmosphere, and it's been awesome. I'm so proud of you because just like Bron, KD, and all the other athletes, it's just a humbleness about the athletes with Nike. When you hear them talk about their signature shoes, when I hear Bron talk, I hear KD talk, I hear him talk, we talk, everything is like humble. And that's, it's great to be a part of that. Now to the business. Tomorrow night, playing the Knicks, big game, my old team. First signature shoe, your own shoe in the Garden, big lights, Broadway. You ready?
Yeah, I'm always ready.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready, sir.
Well, when you break somebody's ankle, we're going to see it in person. So now, Nike has worked over a year to combine that insight with performance details. Kyrie, I know there's been so much more that we're going to know about you in the years to come, but before we wrap it up, we have to get a moment to our Facebook audience that's been waiting for an official first look at the new Nike Kyrie 1s. So you might have to step your foot out so we can get a very good close-up. And then I have another pair over here, the official.
Yeah.
The official.
Yeah, these are them. And no, these every time I look at them and every time I hold them, and every time I put my foot in, this shoe is something that I can call my own and my family can call their own. It's going to be a forever thing, and and I'm just really, really happy about it. That I get to share this with everybody here, and some of my teammates are here, and you guys up here. It's truly a blessing, and I'm happy to be here and for this opportunity. But this shoe right here, I'm really happy about it. A lot of inspiration went into the shoe and a lot of detail, and every meeting that we had about my shoe, it was making changes or making suggestions, and I wanted to command what I wanted on my shoe and how I wanted it built, and how I wanted it to represent everybody that I wanted to. That's the kids and future generations that's going to come after me, and they're going to see this, and I'm just proud of it.
Well, there's two things, because you're probably you three guys are one of the unique guys that when people say, you can't come in with sneakers, you say, well, no, these are my shoes. They're not my sneakers. But you can get in with them. So you can go anywhere. But lastly, what do you like most about them?
What I like most about them is well, I mean, I like everything, but it's my mom passed away when I was 4, and every day I pray to her, but, on the bottom of the shoe, it says Elizabeth, and it has her birthday, which I have tattooed on my wrist, and then it has her death date, and then beneath my emblem, it says JBY, and it stands for just be you, just be yourself. You don't have to be anybody else, just be you, and, you represent yourself and all the hard work that you put in, all those lonely nights and, late night, early morning workouts, it's just being you. And I feel like that's a true representation of who I am and my family.
Oh. All right. That's the only turnover in New York. So, Kyrie, who'll be Charles, myself, and Jack, and Ernie will be on TNT tomorrow night when you take on the Knicks. And so we wish you luck in your first night wearing your Kyrie 1s. So Charles and Penny, our pleasure for having you up here. Thank Charles and Penny for coming up.
Yes, sir.
And before we continue, we have a video we'd like to show you.
I was that kid that was playing hours and hours out on the playground in my shoes until they were worn out. So I had to go to my dad and ask for some more shoes. I asked for Kobe's, LeBron's, KD's. Now that I'm on that list, it comes with a lot of responsibility. I just want to leave my legacy on the court. I'm glad that I can be a representation of my generation and the kids that are younger, because I want to be that role model they look up to and say, like, this is our shoe. This is not my shoe, this is our shoe.